than a trend.
Yeah.
We're forever a part of the culture. HBCU Pulse always has you on lock. From the shade room to your favorite news feed, and now on your TV and radio. We are the #1 outlet for HBCU culture. Follow HBCU Pulse on social media and visit hbcupulse.com to stay up to date on what's going on in the HBCU community.
Yes, sir. What's going on, everybody? This is Randall Barnes, the founder of HBCU Pulse and the host of HBCU Pulse Radio, in the building for another special edition of the show. On today, where we're doing another amazing series of interviews for our partners at the HBCU Experience for their new book, the HBCU Experience, the Tuskegee University edition. I've been saying it for the past couple of interviews that we've done. I'm very excited for this. I got my Fort Valley shirt on today because that's my IHBCU, you know. And we real link. We tied in with Tuskegee. I'm gonna keep saying that because there's a lot of reasons why I'm saying that in my research that I've done. Like Fort Valley and Tuskegee very tied in, you know. So we have a lot of amazing folks that we've interviewed. But I'm very excited for tonight because first we have Miss Renita Brooks in the building. Then I have my second interview with Jonice Watts. That's gonna be really fun. But coming up, Miss Renita Brooks making things happen. Like, listen, she's doing her thing as far as entrepreneurship, as far as health, making it happen. I'm super excited to talk to her. Let's go on and bring her up right now. Renita, how you doing today?
Hi. Wow, what an introduction.
I try. Listen, you Tuskegee, I'm Fort Valley. I gotta show out, you know?
What an introduction. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Of course. First, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm good. It looks like we're lagging a bit, but listen, we're gonna make it do what it do. So I'm super excited to talk to you. So first and foremost, let everyone know, because I did an introduction for you, but I need you to let everyone know who you are.
Yeah, I'm Renita Brooks. I'm originally from North Carolina. I went down to Tuskegee. I was there from the years of 2013 to 2017, not to age myself too much. I'm glad I got the opportunity to attend Tuskegee before COVID. And now I live in Dallas, Texas, where I work as a consultant here. And on the side, I have my side business, Active Physique, where I'm promoting health and wellness. And the main goal there is to help women primarily. I have a focus primarily on women, help them to be healthy, be strong, have nutritious meal plans. As we know, in the African American community, that tends to be a struggle for us. So that's something I'm really, really passionate about.
I love that. So you're from North Carolina, and I'm not gonna lie, I can hear that Southern accent. Listen, we love to hear it. I'm from Georgia, so it's all good. I hear that North Carolina, because North Carolina, Alabama, and Georgia, we all sound different. I'm telling you. And then different parts of Georgia sound different, because you know somebody is from Atlanta. I'm not from Atlanta. I'm from Macon. You know what I'm saying? So you probably can tell I'm not from Atlanta. But listen, I hear the North Carolina in your voice and your swagger. And you went to Tuskegee, so you got to tell me, because you got North Carolina A&T that's in your state. At that point in time, they're growing. Dr. Martin was doing his thing, but you decided to go to Tuskegee. So tell us why you chose Tuskegee as your HBCU.
So I actually applied to NCAT, and I was there. I applied to FAMU. I was accepted there. But I chose Tuskegee because the reasoning is not some grand reason, but I simply wanted to get out of the state of North Carolina and explore more. And FAMU was so large, I did want to go somewhere a little bit smaller. My mom actually took me down to Tuskegee to tour when I told her that was where I wanted to go. I fell in love with the campus. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. Met great people while I was there on tour. And I said, this is the school I wanted to go to. I love the history of our campus. A lot of the infrastructure and architecture there, a lot of the integrity of that was kept over the years because it's considered a historic site. Booker T. Washington is buried there. George Washington Carver is buried there, just to name a few notable people who had impact on the campus. So just the rich history. The campus is absolutely gorgeous. All the red bricks. It just really makes you feel proud to attend a university where it's so well kept, aesthetically too. So just simply going down there and feeling the spirit of the campus is what really, really drove my decision to attend Tuskegee.
Listen, you said an operative word that I'm glad you said. You said history, the history of Tuskegee. So listen, like I have to read this off because listen, you said history, okay? So I went to Fort Valley, right? You went to Tuskegee. So one of the things I found out in my reading of the history of Fort Valley is that Henry Alexander Hunt, who was one of our principals of Fort Valley, he molded Fort Valley High and Industrial School after two schools, Hampton University and Tuskegee. And listen, I showed it to one of my folks that went to Tuskegee. He's a history guy, Kendrick. He was like, I actually didn't know that. I'm like, what? You're a history guy? You went to Tuskegee and you didn't know that? I got me one because he be teaching me all the time. Yeah, listen, people don't know that. See, you said history. I had to bring that up because he's there for Tuskegee. Tuskegee really put on for all HBCUs. Without Tuskegee, I wouldn't be here right now talking to you because Fort Valley was molded after Hampton and Tuskegee. So I love that history element, and I love your reasoning behind going to Tuskegee. So let's really get into your years at Tuskegee. We want to talk about your history because you went at a real good time, like the 2013 to 2017. I went to Fort Valley 2015 to 2019. So you were in college at around the same time as I was. So I know how it was some of those years. So let's start each year. Let's go year by year. So let's start your freshman year. So what was your freshman year like for you?
Oh my God. When I think back to my time, I literally think of how I came in as a girl and left a woman. So even with so much to learn after I left Tuskegee, that is kind of my way to describe my experience there. Coming in as a freshman at around 18 years old, you're just learning and getting used to classes and stuff. And me, I was like someone who liked to go out all the time and I didn't get up to go to classes. I was kind of one of those. And my GPA dropped so low to like a 2.0 that when I came home for the summer, my parents were like, you are not going back. You just kind of want to play around. So I begged and pleaded them to go back. And they allowed me to return. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I do think they're on the live stream right now. Thank you for allowing me to return. So they allowed me to return, and I quickly got my act together after a year of just kind of just exploring, getting used to the campus, getting used to having independence. And for a small campus, there was a lot to still do. From my perspective, if you like allow the distractions, they're going to be there regardless kind of where you go. But a lot of people think since it's in like a small town, there's nothing to do, but there's plenty to find to do. But I really enjoyed like participating in campus events. We had a ton of like informationals where we would have people come speak to us. We had I think the year maybe Roshan was our president my freshman year, so he had a lot going on at the time. The CAF had just opened, so the year before I got there, the students didn't have access to the student union in the cafeteria that I had access to my freshman year. So that was like a major thing on our campus, was that cafeteria opening. So that allowed for a lot of events to take place in the CAF. So that really created excitement around the university. So that was my freshman year. That was something notable, I would say, happened my freshman year. And then my first homecoming, of course, that was very exciting for me. So if you're on the stream and you don't know, we have a shed that we like to hang out under. So since I was a freshman, that was like, okay, you have to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning to go to the 12 o'clock game to get a seat under the shed. So my freshman year consisted of me like getting up early in the morning, going to game days with my friends just so we could have a seat under the shed. Of course, as I got older, that was not the case anymore. So those are just like notable moments that I remember from my freshman year.
Hey, listen, I love it. I want to just say that everybody know about the shed. Listen, everybody that knows about HBCU life in general, we've seen the videos. Y'all go viral for the shed all the time. And for me, like the shed was really cool for me because I've not been to Tuskegee yet. But it's dope. Y'all have like something blocking the sun. Cause see, at all the
Yeah.
other schools, like we be in the sun. It's 1 o'clock. It's beaming. It's September. It's October. It is beaming. But y'all got to share. Y'all just the dancing. That's why y'all can dance. Y'all not gonna pass out. Like y'all gonna pass out because the sun on us. We there. They score a touchdown. We sitting there like. I'm like, all right, good, go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all had it made. Then y'all's football team was winning too. Like, y'all was doing y'all thing. On top of that, you know what I'm saying? Y'all like that. I'll give you that. Y'all like that. Hey, listen, y'all are like that when it comes to football. I'm not
a winning
season. Yeah, I mean, listen, I got to give y'all that. You know what I'm saying? Even though Fort Valley did beat y'all in the Red Tails Classic in 2021 and 2022, y'all got the win back. You know, it's all good. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? Gotta say that. All right. But listen, let's talk about your sophomore year. So sophomore year is typically when we get things rolling as far as just the experience. So what was sophomore year like for you?
Sophomore year again was like more of the year where I was really focused more on my grades and schoolwork. I did begin to feel more comfortable on the campus, so I saw myself actively participating in more clubs. And that year I changed my major. So I started off as an education major, and then I switched to business because I felt more in line with the classes that we're teaching. And I was actually really inspired by a lot of the seniors and juniors on campus who were in the business house. I saw they were the leaders on campus, in my opinion, the kind of movers and shakers. They were in the business house. And so I literally was like, I want to be like them. And so shout out to all of them. It's like a bunch of people that come to mind when I think about the business school. And when I got to meet and know those professors, they really pushed me. They really encouraged me. So my sophomore year was mainly me focusing on the academia portion and then my club involvement. So I really spent time focusing on that, working on relationship development with my peers. So I did get more serious more in my sophomore year because I was like, okay, I can't waste time. I can't waste this money that my parents are investing in me. So I have to take this a bit more serious. I still had a great time, but it was definitely more so focused on, putting academics first.
I think that's amazing. So it's interesting because I like to find commonalities in these interviews with the experiences that you all had, right? And I know for me, I was an education major, then I switched to mass communications. And the reason why I was an education major is because of the fact that my mom was like, listen, like the job market is crazy. There's teachers always have work. So I was like, I want to be a mass comm major, but my mom makes a great point. I got to get this money when I graduate, right? So what made you be an education major? Was it the same story, or did you really want to be a teacher?
So my dad is an educator. He attended St. Augustine's University, and he just gave the commencement speech there a few weeks ago. He was their commencement speaker. And so I have education in the background. I grew up in the church. My dad's a pastor. So I just kind of was like, oh, like teachers, that's kind of my calling. I was a tutor, a camp counselor. So I thought that teaching was the route for me. But as I kind of sat through some of the classes, and I hate to say I compared, but I kind of compared myself to my surroundings. I just didn't think I was in line with the education field from the perspective of I just didn't think I had the patience to work with kids. And so I was like, I don't think this is the best route for me, but I love communicating. I love business development, things of that nature. So that became more, I kind of like public speaking. So I thought business would be the best route for me to go down. So as from an education perspective, there were some educational influences there. My sister is an educator now, and so there were some influences there. Even growing up in the church, surrounded by lots of teachers. So I just thought that was what I should be doing.
So let me ask this, because I know, like, for a lot of folks, when it comes to changing majors, it's sometimes a scary process. And a lot of folks coming into college, like your freshman year and even your sophomore year, a lot of folks don't understand that you really are supposed to figure out at that point in time what your path is. Like, you like, as a sophomore, it's nothing to switch your major, to whatever you're gonna do. Now you're a senior, you're like, oh, I'm switch my major. Like, I don't know about that one now. Like, you need to stay where you at and go to grad school. Mm-hmm. But like, did you do it courageously? Like, you know what, education is not for me, I'm doing business. Or was it like, I'm a little bit nervous, I'm gonna see what this is about and I'm gonna move over? So like what was your thought process like at that moment?
So I wasn't nervous because, again, like, I pretty observant when it comes to maybe behaviors. And I just didn't think my behaviors were in line with educators. So I knew that I had to do something, and I knew that I wasn't interested in, educating our youth. Maybe in the long run, I was like, well, maybe I can be an educator in the future as maybe a professor. I don't have to necessarily work with kids, but right now I need to do something where I'm going to get experience. And I have somewhat of an entrepreneurial spirit in me. And again, I was really, really inspired by the juniors and seniors on campus who were coming out of the business house, and the things that they were doing, the internships that they were having. It was just very interesting to me. And so I followed my interest. And so that's how I came to become a business major at Tuskegee.
So let me ask this. So you keep saying business house. Was it really a house, or was it like a building and you call it a house?
No, I don't know why I keep saying that. I'm so sorry. I feel like that makes me sound kind of country and old.
No, we not old. Listen. I'm on the same age as you. We are not old. Okay, you are not country. Okay, you're Southern. All right, listen, we're not gonna do that. See, folks, like, listen, because folks be like, oh, like they so country down there. No, we are Southern. Because country, like, listen, I can show some folks country. All right, we are Southern. We're from the South, so no. But it's interesting because I'm envisioning in my mind like the business that's going to this real cool mansion at Tuskegee. Y'all learning just how to make money. You say house, I'm like, okay, the business house. So like, I think, like, listen, you keep saying, I think that's dope. All right, so listen, so let's talk about junior year. So the business house, you make it happen in the business house, you changed your major. And listen, I know for me, junior year was a really dope time for me because that's when I think things really start to come together for me. So what was junior year like for you?
Junior year was interesting for me because that's when I really started to see some of my peers fall off, which was challenging for me because I felt like a lot of people had fallen off or not been able to continue their education in the way that I was. And so I kind of was like, I have to shift and pivot and build new relationships with folks. And I really started to tap into becoming a leader on the campus, being a mentor to the freshmen and the sophomores. I really began to tap into that. I got involved with, just mentorship programs, being more of a leader in our clubs, holding like some of those, what's the word I'm looking for? Not president positions, but maybe like, I wasn't a treasurer, but because I can't think right now, like more of the other roles that were not like the main leaders. So I found myself stepping into more leadership roles within our clubs, being involved in more volunteer projects. I got involved with our school newspaper. I was involved in like our school, like our class SGA. So things like that began to take place around my junior year. Again, I became more confident in my classes. My relationships were much stronger with my professors. So and my classmates who I would go on to graduate with. So now at this time, you're beginning to see some of the same faces in your classes. And I think that's the coolest part because you get to build relationships. I have great relationships with all of those people that, in my graduating class. And so that was kind of the biggest change I would say that I experienced going into my junior year. Because during that time, it's like, it's game time. It's going to be time to graduate soon. What does graduation look like? Where am I going to go after this? I didn't have a game plan, so it was time to figure out a game plan for post graduation. So junior year began to look even more focused on like, okay, we're not really a kid anymore. You've had time to play around. You've had fun. Now we got to figure out how we're going to pay this loan back. So that that became a lot of my junior year.
Listen, pay the loan back is important. See, a lot of folks they be going crazy in college, but they don't realize that them loans follow you. And I hear so many people that they're like, listen, I've forgiven my own loan. How? Like how? You going to jail? Like what in the world? They talking about they forgiving their loan. Like what in the world? You going to jail? Anyway, all right, let's talk about your senior year. So you have all these amazing experiences. You're super involved on campus. So what was senior year like for you?
Senior year was a fun year because I got to be a part of big SGA. I'm putting it in quotes because we all have these little brackets of SGA, but I was in big SGA and I served as our judicial advisor. So a lot more responsibilities came with being a part of big SGA, and as a as the judicial advisor, I would have to go to all the dorms, explain the rules, especially to the freshmen, like, no, you can't have boys in here, you can't smoke, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I also got to see certain parts of how the business of the university was run from an organizational perspective, because I did get to sit on some judicial cases where my opinion mattered, and I had to decide if people should be able to stay in school or if they should be expelled. So that was a big responsibility that came with that. Leadership would ask my thoughts and my opinion. Like, I didn't have the power to say end all be all, but they did and solicit my opinion. So that was very interesting to be a part of that decision making process. Being on SGA, I think what a lot of people sometimes don't understand, and that we get to understand when you're working on things, is SGA planned homecoming, and every SGA class pretty much did it. But you're working with a tight budget to plan homecoming, and all the artists that you kind of want to come, we can't afford. And you have to decide, well, do we want to expend our whole budget on one artist for one day and the rest of the week we do absolutely nothing? Or do we kind of spread the money out over the entire week? So sitting in those meetings, we would have really, really long financial planning meetings for SGA and for like our spring semester. It wasn't homecoming, but like spring, I can't think of the words, but spring festivities. And then be heavily scrutinized on the plan that we put out by the students. And so that was my first time really like taking good constructive feedback, but saying like, you guys don't know all the back information. You don't know that we didn't get approved for the great cool things we wanted to do, and regulations, and there's rules, and there's compliances, and there's risk management, and there's all these things that are involved with planning this. And I think it was a great opportunity to be exposed to leadership, when you have to, again, make the tough decisions that everybody doesn't want to make. Sometimes it's easier to be on the outside looking in and scrutinize, but then when you're actually involved, understand and see the process at hand that takes place into planning these events, definitely a mindset shift. So I would say, like, my senior year, I had a really great opportunity to be involved in projects that required hard decision making. And so those things have carried me out even till today in some of the roles I've had in corporate, because I work on more of a global scale to think about strategies on how to implement budgets and things of that nature. So uh, then I graduated, of course. I graduated, I had a plan. I followed the plan. I ended up in Indianapolis post graduation. But a lot of my senior year, I would say the highlight of that was, outside of the academia, was mainly being a part of Student Government Association.
I love that. Listen, I was in SGA as well, and I think you perfectly summarize really the importance of SGA, which is handling business. And also, I guess Tuskegee went through the same things that Fort Valley did around the same time, because folks wanted everybody and they didn't get them. Oh, homecoming is lame. Listen, you can go to Drake's concert, okay? Like you can go over there. We might can't get Drake, but listen, you give us a few years, when he loses beef to Kendrick Lamar, he might come for a discount at this point because he lost. Okay, that and them tickets, he might be like, you know what, it was $1 million, now it's 50,000. We need to get back in the good graces of the black people. All right, I'm telling you. All right, but listen, I gotta ask you, because we're gonna talk about active physique, but I gotta put this up because your dad said this, that your articulation is fantastic. All right, HBCU, and I feel like that is real. That is real. Like, listen, we know how to talk at HBCUs. Like, you talk. Is it like that? They out here, they see you. All right, that articulation, it's fantastic. All right. So I thought that was really cool. I had to put that up there. I had to put that comment up there. But real quick, let's talk about active physique. So tell us how you started your business.
So active physique started during COVID. Like, actually, no, it started like right during COVID. So when I moved to Dallas, moving to Dallas was great for me because it's my first time being in a big city. So I was born and raised in Raleigh, North Carolina, went to Tuskegee University. My first job out of college was in Indianapolis, and then I moved to Dallas. And so Dallas, like, I never gained the freshman 15, but I definitely gained the the Texas. Everything is bigger here. The portion, the food, the life, the livelihood. And so I was going out a lot, just really, really enjoying myself. I was working for a really cool company here at the time, and they were feeding us all the time. So I was just like eating a lot. And so I was like, okay, I got to kind of get back into shape. So I started working out really, really hard and really getting into fitness. And so I said, I feel so great. And I'm happy with the way that I look. And there is this internal confidence that started to grow in me. And I said, well, I want every woman to feel like this. I feel powerful. I feel strong. I feel beautiful. I feel healthy. I can walk up the stairs. I'm not out of breath anymore. And so I wanted to share what I was doing with other people. And people kept asking me, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, what is your regimen? What's your routine? And mainly it was just consistency. And it's really challenging to be consistent when you're not seeing results. So my message was to keep going, really. And I was able to share with women mainly via Instagram at the time, and then transitioning over to TikTok. My routines, what I was working on, what I was eating. I was doing a variety of activities to stay healthy and fit. And so that is how Active Physique started. It started through people really reaching out to me. And then my first product, I believe, was a fitness plan, and people actually bought it. And I was like, well, I know it was good, but I didn't like you. Like sometimes you're like, I don't know if anybody is gonna like really believe in this or if they're gonna be interested in this. But I sold it and it did really, really well. And so I got some more products. I got resistance bands. I got ankle weights, and I put out some more plans, and people really bought it. And so I really have my Tuskegee family to thank for that because they have been my biggest supporters in that business. They have really driven the business, which I think goes to back to speak on the power of HBCUs. We just have strong support systems, so that they're even supporting you at post graduation. But that is how Active Physique started. It started from my love of fitness. And I ran track in high school, so I've always been a runner. I love running. I had an aunt who was really into fitness. She used to be a fitness instructor. My mom is really into health and wellness. My mom is amazing, by the way. Let me give her a quick shout out. She does like 100-mile bike rides, and she swims, and she plays pickleball, and she tires me out. So I'm trying to keep up with her. But those two women, I would say, really, really inspired me to take my health very seriously. And so that's how Active Physique started, and with the passion for women and supporting other women.
Listen, I can hear the passion for your business. Like I can hear it. Like, but like it's like a different like level of like detail and attention you put into talking about Active Physique. So I think that was amazing. So before we talk about the book, the HBCU Experience, the Tuskegee University edition, before we get out of here, I want you to give some tips to the young women in college that are making it happen, that are on the go, that are in SGA, that are in all these different organizations. They don't have time to really drop everything and work out. So maybe on the weekends, they might be eating Chick-fil-A. They're not getting the grilled chicken sandwich. They're getting the fried chicken sandwich and the fries and soda. All right. We all want to get right. We all want to make sure that we're healthy. So what are some tips for young women in college and even just college students in general to get and stay healthy?
Well, the fun thing about college is when you're 20, you can do that. You can eat how you want and be just a little bit more fine. But and then as you get older, the metabolism just really starts to slow down. So the goal is to get into healthy habits early. So some of my tips that I love and that I always recommend to everybody: never underestimate the power of just going for a walk. Walks are very, very impactful. 30 minutes, 15 minutes, just intentional movement is something that can really change the course of how you see fitness. And I know a lot of people don't like to really maybe lift or run or do heavy cardio, but walking is really a gentle way to get started. Also, stretching, yoga, things of that nature. Again, being intentional about moving, things that aren't going to like tire you out or make you too sore at first, and then gradually build. A lot of times we start really hard and we want to do a marathon without training and doing the 5K first. So you just have to take it literally one step at a time. Try and get your 10,000 steps in, things like that. Another thing I recommend when it comes to health and wellness: swapping out like your drinks for water. So if you are someone who loves soda and you may drink, let's say, 5 sodas a day, try doing 2 sodas a day or 3 sodas a day and swapping that out for water. Those are great ways to just like shed the pounds very, very quickly, because that sweeteners you add to your diet, and lack of movement is kind of what makes the weight stick. Other things I would recommend is don't beat yourself up if you're not seeing results, especially for women, because our bodies are designed to carry children. Our bodies hold weight a little bit more and hold fat, because when you're about to have a baby, the baby needs somewhere to go, it needs somewhere to feed. So women, our bodies tend to hold fat a lot more than a man's body. So definitely don't compare your progress to anybody. Definitely don't compare your progress to your boyfriend or your husband or your spouse, because men just lose weight faster because your bodies aren't as designed to hold the kind of weight that our bodies are designed to hold. But things like that, don't compare, don't beat yourself up. Don't stay tied to the scale too much. I think those are great ways to start off. But walking and swapping out drinks for water are my main two pieces of advice that I always recommend people start with, especially if you're having challenges.
Hey, listen, I'm taking mental notes right now because I'm trying to get right too. I'm trying to like I said, listen, before like I get, if I'm blessed to get real old, you know, we gonna get a little bit out of shape. It's gonna be harder when you get older, but like listen, but like at least one point in time between 20s and the 30s, I need to be swole. Listen, I'm just gonna be. I'm gonna be swole. I don't need to be too swole. I don't need to be like steroid swole. I need to be cut. Like where it's like, yeah, don't mess with me. You know what I'm saying?
You can do it.
Listen, I'm gonna switch out. You know, I don't drink soda. I'm gonna switch out that juice just for some water. I drink water anyway. Listen, we're gonna do that. I got my Apple Watch. I'm gonna be walking. And when I'm 30, I'm gonna be like this. You know, so when the next dish come out, you never with me again. Right, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be in there like that. All right. But listen, real quick before we go, let's talk about your chapter in the book, the HBCU Experience, the Tuskegee University Edition. So real quick, like tell us about what your chapter is about. Like don't say too much, but give us a little snippet of what to expect.
So my chapter is a lot about kind of things that we discussed today. It goes into more detail about my experience at Tuskegee and how that experience led to my entrepreneurial endeavors with Active Physique. And so it's really mainly focused on that. I thought it was important to be a part of this book because I think that documenting your legacy is just so cool. And I say that in a way that, like, I'm an avid reader. So if someone has the opportunity to pick up this book, they'll say, wow, Renita Brooks went to Tuskegee and this is who she was. And this is how her Tuskegee experience led to her success. So you'll hear me talk about a lot of those things within the book.
I love it. I love it. Listen, this is an amazing interview. You're doing a lot of great things. Listen, I'm proud of you. Like you're making it happen. You did your thing at Tuskegee. You're doing your thing with fitness and getting folks right. All right. So I need you to let everybody know where we can find you on social media and also how we can support you.
Yes, y'all can find me. The best way to support me and find me is following me on Instagram at active_physique. That's active_physique. That is the best way to find and support me and keep up with everything I'm doing. And that's on Instagram.
I love it. I love it. Well, Renita, listen, we're excited to read your chapter in the book. Listen, we're excited to go out there, switch out our juice for some water. All right. Yes. And I'm telling you, when we shoot that second edition, like you're gonna come here, we'll be like, this the same dude. Like what the world, you know what I'm saying? So we gonna make it happen. We're gonna see what's going on. But Renita, thank you for coming on. I really enjoyed speaking with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Most definitely. You have a great night.
You too. Bye.
All right, we're gonna go on and keep it going. Thank you everybody for tuning in. If you are tuning in, listen, we're gonna get things rolling. Coming up next, we have Miss Jonice Watts in the building. Listen, I did an interview with her back in, I believe that was December. It was in December, and we talked legitimately for an hour. It was wild. We talked for an hour just about like her story, Tuskegee. We had some really funny moments too. You know what I'm saying? So listen, if Jonice is in here, I'm looking, trying to see if the camera's gonna turn on because I'm ready to go. Because listen, I have a whole other set of questions. If you're sticking around, listen, I interviewed her before and we talked about freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year. We talked about all of that. So I came up with a whole different set of questions for Jonice. All right. So listen, I see it pop on the screen right now. Whole different set of questions. Listen, I do this. All right. You still watching? I do this. Listen. So we got Jonice in the building. How you doing, Jonice?
I am flourishing and thriving. How are you?
I am too. Listen, we back. We back. Like, what is this? Like, 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 listen, 5 months later, we're here. So how's everything going with you first and foremost?
Everything has been unfolding in divine order and divine timing. I honestly have been preparing for this new phase of my life. So I've been focusing on just what I need to do mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, and financially, so that I can be prepared for this next chapter. So one person that I met a couple of years ago when I lived in Atlanta taught me about the was it four? No, I think it was 5 P's. Proper planning prevents poor performance. And so that is the phase that I'm in, laser focused, locked in, doing the necessary things so that everything flows with ease.
Hey, listen, I love it. Listen, we gonna have fun. Like we on that same type of time. It's almost like we on the same hour-long interview as last time. It was an hour and 1 minute. Like we really were chopping it up. So listen, I listen. These interview questions are different. Right? We're not gonna ask you how you got to Tuskegee freshman year through senior year, because I literally listened back to our interview. So I'm like, listen, I'm not a basic interviewer, okay? Hopefully you can see that, all right? So I'm like, I can't ask, I never met this person before. No, all right? We're going to ask different questions, all right? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I stay ready, so I don't got to get ready.
See, there we go. Listen, we love to see, all right? So listen, so the first thing I got to ask you about is this, right? So when you talked about how you chose Tuskegee as your HBCU because you're from California, you talked about how media and specifically drumline inspired you. Like you said, you want to be like Izo Sardana, all right, in the movie. So I wanted to like expound upon that. So I want you to tell us how the drumline movie influenced you, because there's so many different elements of drumline. And then you sort of did get into that. You were a dancer at Tuskegee. So how did drumline inspire your decision? Because we talked about the Tuskegee portion of it. I want to talk about the drumline portion itself.
Yes. Let's do a deep dive into the drum line experience. So I'll rewind because you want to know how the movie inspired me, correct?
Mm-hmm. It's been the movie.
So I was in middle school when the movie came out, and I never seen anything like this movie, okay? Because I'm from Los Angeles, we do not have bands like the Southern bands. And so just watching that movie as a dancer, never experiencing dancing in front of live music. Back in the day, I feel like that's the only thing that they danced in front of, right? And so now I'm like, I didn't even know this was a thing. So I was exposed to something new. Then I was sold at that point. And fast forward, ended up at Tuskegee. I really can't tell you a specific part. I've watched the movie so many times. So like, I'll probably bring up a part that I like now, but like at that age, I think it was just the exposure of something new. And then also just, I'll say the Battle of the Bands. If I had to choose one part, I think that would be everyone's favorite part though. So I was doing my best to be innovative, but I'm in the same bandwagon as everyone else. It was definitely Battle of the Bands. P.D. Pablo did it for me. Yeah, I definitely feel like it was P.D. Pablo. It was P.D. Pablo.
Morris Brown really won. They really won. Like Atlanta
No, Morris Brown did win.
Yeah. It really should have. If you look at the movie, like they were like, "Hey, it's a tie." Like in real life, Atlanta A&T, they would have been like, "Atlanta A&T loses again." Like I'm telling you, look, it's like you bring out Petey Pablo, and like, no, you can't win. Listen, that could have been a great point in time to teach young Jonice that listen, in college it's still life. Okay, you lose in college too. Okay, like I'm telling you.
You know, I definitely learned that eventually because when I went there, never got the opportunity to go to the Battle of the Bands.
Really?
Praying.
Why? Why you go to Battle of the Bands?
Got the opportunity, but guess what? They're going this year. And I don't think that they've been in like definitely a decade plus.
What? So I would assume this is Honda. It's Honda?
It has to be. Is there multiple?
Oh yeah, there's definitely multiple. See,
Okay.
see, we grown
because that just tells you that I am not from the South.
And then also they have like the whole entire situation with the band of the year too. They started last year because and you got Tuskegee that could have been part of the Division 2 portion. I'm not gonna lie, that Division 2 portion was sort of odd. I'm not gonna lie to you. So we ain't gonna get on that. I like that Division 2 portion. All right, listen, shout out to everybody. But all right, anyway, because listen, I saw Fort Valley's band. All right, I was at that parade. I was like, come on. I was like, there ain't no way we ain't at least making top 5. We out in the top 10. I'm like, what? I think Tuskegee was right there with us. We both was out. Okay, so I was like, what's really going on? Because I was at homecoming and I was like, we sound good. Like, what the word?
Who's judging?
Listen, who is? I think it's former band. It's like former folks that was in band and like band directors and all that. And I was like, you know what? I feel like the SIC could have got some more consideration in here. They could have got some. We love the CIAA, but I think Tuskegee could have got up in there. Fort Valley definitely could have got up in there because I heard it with my own ears. They came down at that parade, Jonice. I was like, wait a minute now, tell you.
I would have to hear Fort Valley for myself.
Oh, okay. YouTube Fort Valley Blue Machine marching band. It's gonna come up. All right, that's all you gotta do. Cause see, all I gotta do is just say YouTube. All right, we right there. All right, we are right there with it. So I gotta ask you this. So what? Actually, I thought about this when you were talking about your favorite part. So do you remember? And this ties into our last interview. Do you remember they get off the bus and they get on what is Atlanta A&T's campus, and you see Zoe Saldana's character. She's in a sorority. She's with her line sisters. And then Devin's, I see some freshmen over there I want to holler at. And then he said, and then they're like, I don't think those are freshmen. And then he walks up and says, hey, Mom. He's like, what's up, Pa? And he's like, my name's D. And he's like, so whatever. And he's like, hi, Devin. And then he's like, I'll see you around. She's like, yeah. Like, and then when you were talking about drama, I remember that conversation when you said, take a picture, it'll last longer. So that wasn't your favorite part? Because I thought that'd be your favorite part. That'd be your favorite part. Now the rest of the movie. But that part is like the real smooth. Yeah, freshman, you don't got a chance. Goodbye. Take a picture. It'll last longer. Polaroid.
No, at that point, by the time I was a sophomore, junior, I was hospitable. Y'all rubbed off on me at that point.
Okay.
Like, hey, how you doing? How's your mom? I seen your grandma at the Piggly Wiggly.
The Piggly. He said you said last interview you had never heard of Piggly Wiggly, so you got to Alabama.
So like eventually I acclimated and I'm like, you know what? I actually don't mind being hospitable.
Okay.
I don't mind, smiling at people, spreading my love, shining my light. And so what the South did was softened me. And I'm positive you've heard a lot of people, especially Black women, talking about they want a soft life now. And so thanks to the South.
Soft life.
Soft life.
I've definitely heard that.
I didn't have to wait until I got married. And I'm not talking about anybody. The South did it.
It did it? Hey, listen, we love to hear it. So,
and
so I gotta ask this. So before we move on, because I gotta ask you one more question about Drumline. Like I said, you see that this is a different type of interview. Okay, so based on what you were saying with that, with you said take a picture, it lasts longer. Okay, that stayed in my head for all these months. All right, I didn't have to watch the interview again. I could have just said that off top. Okay, so if it was a Devin Miles, okay, that walked up with the braids, this before he got his hair cut off, with the braids. And it's like, you don't know this dude, he might be a transfer. And he came up the way he came up, all right? Because I feel like there were more hospitable like interactions that happened throughout that movie. Then he's in the band. So he's there and then he sees him dancing and has a little moment there. And then he does a little show off thing where he do the little thing, he do a little thing. He showed up my boy Sean, because Sean trying to show off too. All of a sudden, Devin's like, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that was a whack move by Devin, by the way. That's a whole different story. But like, what if Devin came up like that? So are you saying at any point in time, take a picture, it'll last longer? Or are you like, okay, this guy is coming. Remember, he's from New York now. He's from New York. This ain't a Southern dude. He's from New York. So how would you have taken the interaction at the different stages of your time at Tuskegee?
At the different stages of my time. Okay. My freshman year, I did have a boyfriend.
You did say that. Yeah, you did say last week. Yeah.
So like, I was not as mean because I could be like, I have a boyfriend, you know? And so I wasn't as mean. Yes, every now and then I did say, take a picture, it lasts longer, because you have certain men that weren't gentlemen.
That's true.
And so it just depended on the man. If I, and I'm not even gonna say if I did meet a couple of Devins, and I like Devins because of the confidence, the rebellious energy at that time, of course. Like at this age, he would have had to evolve and matured, yes, right? Sure. But at that time, definitely loved me a Devin.
That makes sense. But listen, if you watch Drumline 2, and if you didn't, I don't blame you. Okay. Okay.
I honestly don't recall.
That's all I need to know. Okay. Because if you watched it when it went, and I thought, because it was not like it. See, for me with Drumline 2, all right. Ask one question about Drumline, but about Drumline 2, it wasn't the same veracity of what the original Drumline was, because we respect Drumline for what it was, which it got a lot of us interested in band, because like immediately after that, everybody's trying to get in band. Everybody is trying to be a drummer. It was to the point where people were like, no, like you got to be on a woodwind instrument before you get to the drums. And the upperclassmen in the middle school and high school, they're the drummers, okay? Unless you really fire. Unless you're a Devin Miles as a ninth grader, no, you're not. You playing the trombone. You playing the clarinet like you Squidward. All right. So Drumline 2 is like, we gonna take this and make Devin essentially like, a woman character. And it's like, I get it, but y'all needed to tell me a different story. All right. And I enjoyed it, but it's like they didn't tell a different story. So if Jonice was born in like 2004, okay, and then 10 years later or 12, 13 years later, you watch Drumline, you might be at USC. It's not inspiring you. You might be straight at UCLA. Okay, in the Big Ten, not inspiring you. It wouldn't inspire you, but Drumline 2002 would have inspired you. So I understand you. Like, I don't remember. Because listen, I don't think a lot of us remember seeing Drumline 2.
No, I do want to go back to what I was saying. So, had a boyfriend when I first got here. Then I was single for a very short period of time. Very, very short period of time, my junior year. And this guy that I had met my freshman year from Los Angeles, his sister even went to my high school. So it was crazy how connected we were. But he ended up getting my attention my junior year. And that was actually the last year I danced. And he was like, I did not like basically me when I was dancing because of how I was who I was. But he conformed me into a girlfriend. But yeah, so then I was with him until I graduated, until I was like 24, right before I came back to Tuskegee. So I didn't have that many opportunities because I was loyal.
Hey, listen, we love it. We love to hear that. Listen, folks have opportunity at love. Period. All right, when they at college. So the fact that you basically had a drumline storyline within your time at Tuskegee, that's a blessing.
Yes, you know? He wasn't in the band.
That's even better. He has time. He got time. Okay.
He had a lot of time for me, actually. And I loved a man with time back then. Now, I want you to make time for me. But I don't want you to have time.
Oh, my God.
I want you to have to be like, I have to make time. When are you available? Monday through.
You said, listen, if you got too much time for me, we ain't compatible. You need to be busy from 9 to 5 and maybe 6 to 8. All right, on Monday through Thursday.
Exactly. I need you to have yes, more things on your plate than the average individual.
You and your freshman year, you said take a picture, it'll last longer. Now in your alumni life, you said get a job, you have less time.
and like hobbies, like you were just talking about working out. You get what I'm saying? That needs to be one thing on your plate.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
There are other things that need to be, on the plate.
That's true, because I think that often, like when it comes to that, because it's a difference between college and alumni relationships, and I think that's something. I think see, this is the question. That is, you see, conversation. It's not even a question that is within what I wrote down. So let me ask you this: we talked about the relationship element. What about the friendship element? Because it's like when you're in college, you are around so many folks that are like you. Like there are different backgrounds. Like folks might be from the East Coast, from the South, from the West Coast, from the Midwest. They might be from other countries, right? Or like other places. And you all are 18 to 22, 23, 24, what have you. And you're in that place where it's this Black joy and friendship and all these different things. When you graduate, it's sort of a different vibe for a lot of people. Because I know some folks have a strong friend group. Like they go to homecoming with their friends and all that. But a lot of folks don't really have that. So like, what was it like for you, that transition as far as friendship? Because you were a dancer, you were part of the organization. So what was that transition of friendship after you graduated? Was it lonely? Did you have your friends? Or how was that?
I still had my friends. I still had my friend group. So most of my friends I met like freshman, sophomore year. And a lot of them were dancers. Some of them stayed in my freshman dorm, Olivia Davidson. And when I graduated, I moved to Florida. So I would like travel to Tuskegee to spend time with my friends. I would travel to Georgia, wherever they were. So I believe that you have to be intentional when you are an adult if you want to have healthy and harmonious relationships with your friends. Right. And so me and my friends were very intentional about seeing each other, especially when it came to our birthdays. And we were very supportive when it came to our graduations. All of my friends that I was hanging out with right after I graduated, we all got our masters. So it was beautiful to have friends that also were on the same path as me, that reflected me in a divine and sacred way. They inspired me and also party with me. And so it was like the perfect balance. We were still aspiring for greatness, but also enjoying our life to the fullest. I think that there was a, point in time I'm not going to say I think I know, there was a point in time when I started to not enjoy life. Because that's when I'll say the adult kicked in. Now I know how to like do things that my inner child enjoys, do things that my inner child like love to do. Like I loved swinging on swings, so I'll go to parks, right? Or just having hobbies. Like I said, multiple things can be on your plate other than jobs and businesses, right? And so yes, I think that there was a point in time when I really started to like focus on my businesses as an entrepreneur. As a farmer, I had so many things running through my mind daily, thinking about how to, one, become self-sufficient and then teach people how to be self-sufficient. So yeah, there was a point in time when I was like so focused, I didn't make time for those people that invoked laughter and brought so much joy and bliss to my life. And so you know,
Yes, you're back. You're back.
okay, my alarm went off. Yeah, so yeah, now that I'm older and I reflect, I'm like, okay, I have to make time for my family. I have to make time for my friends because I live in Alabama now. I have family in a lot of states, but my grandmother, is in Los Angeles. I haven't seen them since I moved in last July, right? And so I'm like, okay, when am I gonna go home? Like, time flies. And so the older you get, the more intentional you have to be.
So what did intention, or what does intention look like for your friendships? Because I think that one thing that when you graduate, I think sometimes for a lot of people, it's like, hey, we're so caught up in our lives and things going on that for some of our friendships, we're not necessarily like nurturing them or watering them, I guess, in a like a definition, like of farming. Like we're not watering, we're not nurturing it. You know what I'm saying? And they sort of fall apart. You know what I mean? So like I think that what you said about intention, I think that's really important because I think a lot of us are not being intentional with reaching out. We're not being intentional with checking in. We're not being intentional. And I saw this on Twitter, is that like it's folks that's going through it, and you know your friends are going through it. It might be surgery, it might be death in the family, someone close to them that passed away. So their child might be sick. And it's like, hey, are you checking in? If you're not checking in, you cut off. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's even though like those are conversations we're having post college. So I think you said a great thing about intention. So how are you and your friend group, how are you all intentional in continuing to maintain your friendship at the college?
I'll say, since I had so many friends, but I'm talking about one specific friend group, that group that you always were with majority of the time, everybody knew that was your friend group. Because I started to awaken spiritually and I started to invest my time, my energy, and my money into my evolutionary journey, I don't talk to a lot of those friends actually.
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely something that was depressing. I don't think we talk about having to like break up with friends. And sometimes it's unspoken. And it's like, you still love them. And I don't even want to say I outgrew them. I want to say that they serve their purpose. And in the future, we may rekindle our friendships. But one thing that I've learned is sometimes you have to make room for new people to come serve you, right? Because as a steward of the land, as a humanitarian, I am constantly watering people, right? And so I have to be mindful of who I'm around. And so I started to hang out with more farmers, more environmentalists, more agriculturalists, more gardeners. And so I never knew I was going to be a farmer when I met them, right? And so when you are in college, you choose friends that have similar interests or talents or gifts. And then as you get older, you study yourself prayerfully before studying thyself to get to know thyself. And so the more I got to know myself, my network started to change. Because now I'm more focused on, are you an asset or are you a liability? And I want to party with the assets.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Like, and I think that was a great answer in general about the intention and about like you said, like friendship breakups, because they happen. And we'll talk about relationship breakups all day. Good God, Black folks on Twitter and TikTok break up stories. You know what I'm saying? Like Risa Tisa, like and stories too. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's like the friendship breakups, those are the worst because you really know how to deal with it. And that's when therapy come in. It's like how do I deal with this? That's what therapy comes in to the equation. You know what I'm saying?
Those friends have been in your life for 10 years, 15 years. It's definitely, something that a therapist
What they pay for
is needed for sometimes because you have to heal. And one of the things that I've learned about intention is that you don't want to force it, you want it to flow. And sometimes you can have good intentions and still create inner tension. Right. Mm-hmm. And so as a farmer, I've thought about ending world hunger. That creates a lot of inner tension.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm like, how am I going to do that? Right. Anxiety, stress. And so I'm like, okay, let me just focus on feeding myself. Let me start there. Then let me focus on feeding the community. Right. Then let me focus on maybe a county. Then maybe the state. You get me? But one breath at a time. And so with friendships or even dating, with family, because, I have to make time for all of, these relationships. It's about figuring out a way to flow with ease and grace and unconditional love. And I tell people I'm a low maintenance friend, baby. I love when people check on me, but you can literally hit me up once every season.
That's right.
Once every season. But that's because I know that our love is going to grow regardless. And when we call each other, when we see each other, it's going to feel like we talked yesterday. Unless you got some animosity.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I'm going to be like, I'm a low maintenance friend now. And so my high maintenance friends have accepted me. And then I also think about them like, okay, I'm a text them every other week. Right? Mm-hmm. You consider me, I consider you.
That's real. That's because like for me, I'm like, I don't even exist. Yeah, it's all cool. You know what I'm saying? It's all cool. I will see you when I see like how Drake said, because like Drake and Kendrick had they beef, and then Kendrick dropped and then Drake dropped a Heart Part 6 when Kendrick dropped Not Like Us. And then Drake said it in the Heart Part 6, he said, I'll see you when I see you, like Fantasia. That's how I am with a lot of my friends. You know, that's how I'm like, I'll see you when I see you, like Fantasia.
I didn't know this was gonna go like this, but I should have expected it. And now I'm over here singing, "They not like us."
I was gonna ask you about it too, because we're gonna talk about the book in a second. So listen, so like you from the West Coast, so I gotta get your opinion on Drake and Kendrick. So you was Team Kendrick all the way.
You know, this is how I feel. I literally feel like I'm in between a rock and a hard place.
Really?
I do, because I'm a Degrassi fan. So like, I love Drake before he was even a rapper. And then Replacement Girl with Trey Songz, you get me? Like, I've been there. I was there at the beginning before he changed.
He changed.
So many people do, though. You get me? So many people do. Money changes people. Period. And so I accept him for who he is. I still enjoy and appreciate the craft, the art. But Kendrick, okay, this is the perfect way to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Drake got my heart. Kendrick got my soul.
Hey, that's the perfect way to explain it. That's perfect way to explain it.
Got my soul. My soul is on lock with Kendrick. Like, I was playing They Not Like Us in the morning like a gospel song. Literally. Like, you was Kurt Franklin.
It's like a gospel song. You sound like a gospel song. That is a like.
I know. I'm like, at least once a day. We'll keep the doctor away.
Listen, like you up early in the morning, all you hear is A minor.
I had to look that up too. Like, what is this? Like, I was so into it, and I've never been into any beef to that extent. But that's because I love both of them, but in different ways. And so, like, I think Drake for women provides something else. You get me? So men, y'all don't get what Drake provides for us. It's like emotional intimacy when we're listening to his songs. Like, I feel divinely embraced by Drake.
So let me ask you this then. All right. This still the Tuskegee interview, right? I gotta ask this.
I'm in Tuskegee right now.
Yeah, you feel me? So yeah, so we on timing, all right. So here's my thing with Drake. Okay, you said you've been rocking with him since Degrassi. I didn't watch Degrassi for real. I'm not gonna. I thought Degrassi was corny. I did. Like, you know what I'm saying? Degrassi was out, but granted, to be fair, some of the shows I was watching in hindsight, okay, I seen Quiet on the Set, and I'm like, maybe Degrassi would have been cool for me. Because that Quiet on the Set, I was like, I feel guilty watching some of them shows. What the world? So, like, maybe you had the recipe all along, okay? So, like, with Drake, his music regressed, it seems like. Because you got to realize with me, middle school, high school is Drake, like, So Far Gone, Thank Me Later, Take Care, you know what I'm saying? So, and then you had the other one with his face on it. So, like, that's me. Yeah, like with the baby and then his face. So I get to college. So, you know, Drake had What a Time to Be Alive. He Reading This Too Late. Then he had Views. You know, he started experimenting with different sounds and things. Now Kendrick, Don't Kill My Vibe, The Recipe, I was really that was really my guy. You know what I'm saying? So I was really involved from the jump. And remember, Control happened. And that was, he called out my favorite rapper, Big Crit, and Big Crit responded with Mount Olympus. He handled business, okay? Wasn't none personal. He's just like, I handled business, okay? Drake said, I ain't worried about Kendrick, and Kendrick does the freestyle, right? We knew this beef was coming, right? But
You know, I was oblivious.
you're oblivious. Okay, I get it. But let me ask this: so, like, do you think that current Drake is nourishing to the soul? Do you think that the Drake that made Rich Baby Daddy, yes, the Drake that made Rich Baby Daddy with Sexy Red,
no,
is it okay? I want just ask that. Okay,
no, like his last, songs last probably, I'll say just last album. No interest.
I feel that.
No interest. Like I listened to maybe like a couple songs, like the main ones that everybody listened to, but this was the one I don't even know the name. The one with
For all the dogs, yeah, for all the so you talking about what's the name? Certified Lover Boy or like For All the Dogs?
I don't. I just remember the emojis.
Okay, that was Certified Lover Boy.
Yeah, and so he had an album after that.
Yes. Okay. Good. You don't know about it. That's good. That's see,
what I'm saying. Hasn't been nurturing.
That I love that because Drake has regressed. Because I think the Drake that like you really were a fan of, that guy is gone, and that's why he lost that beef.
Okay, so he's still in there, right? But at the end of the day, we may never ever hear him on a track again.
Yeah.
That's the truth. But listen to this. Because of this beef, a flame could have been lit under that ass.
Was it like a Lil Wayne lighter flicker flame, or was it another flame?
I pray it was like a Kevin Hart. You get me, when he was on the stage and he was like, what did he say?
Like, help me.
No.
Like that? No, not that one.
Oh, it was one of his stand-ups, and he said something, and then the fire would come on. You didn't see that one?
I think I know what you're talking about, but like, I'm trying to think because I think I know which one you're talking about. I watched all of them except for the last one. Except for the last one.
That the flame was bright enough, hot enough to light that internal flame within him that is dim now, because he's darker now. You get me? He needs to heal. He's wounded. He's a Scorpio.
Oh my God. Scorpio.
Very dark. Right? So, yes, Drake just needs to heal. Drake just needs to heal. Kendrick healed. Drake needs to heal. That's what you see. That's what you feel in the music.
Yeah.
Right? And so, yeah, that's what Kendrick said in the song.
That is like, but like I will also say this about Drake though. Drake lives, because people kept saying, oh, he lives like he's 20 years old. There are no 20-year-olds that live like Drake. No, there's nobody that lives like Drake. The reason why that daughter thing, if it was a lie or not, I guess we'll never know. But like the reason why we all believed it, if Drake said Kendrick has a daughter, we'd be like, no, he doesn't. Like, you know, he would have rapped about it in Miss Morale. But he said Drake has a daughter he's hiding. Plausible. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he probably got a lot of kids running around because he lives like he's this character in this movie. Sir, you are a human being. And I will tell you this before we move on. You probably did not hear his verse on that Sexy Red song. That light is not coming on. Like the you know like how on a candle you'll put the light on it and it's so burnt it won't get on the thing. It's gone. It's gone. Jonice. It's gone. If you heard that verse, don't hear it. If you ever heard it, don't even try. Okay, don't search it. Don't go because it's gone. It's gone.
Yes, I'm not gonna be the angel advocate.
It's gone.
So I'll say I'm Team Kendrick then.
That's right. That's right. Listen, that is right.
Kendrick, I have not said it until now, but in this reality, in this moment, in this present moment, yeah,
It's
Drake,
Kendrick.
I need you to go within.
He does.
I
Drake,
need
Drake,
to go
telling
on
you.
like retreat, a silent retreat. I need you to go to Thailand. I need you to do some soul searching.
I'm telling you what Drake needs to do. Here's what Drake needs to do. Okay. I'm telling tell you what, he lost his beef. He lost. It's over. Okay. Here's what he needs to do. Drake, for losing the beef, his punishment is that he will give Tuskegee and Fort Valley a discounted rate and go to our homecomings. Okay. Discounted rate. That is his consequence. And I'm pretty sure at Tuskegee, he will find somebody that will help him heal. There we go.
I agree.
Find somebody help him heal. There we go.
Let's
there we go.
send him a DM. Every day. And this year is actually supposedly Tuskegee's 100th homecoming.
Yeah.
But they said since the pandemic.
That's true. They're not gonna count that. They're not gonna count it. So it's that's sort of debating over 99 versus 100 because of 2020 because it was canceled.
Yeah. I feel like homecoming is within. Okay.
Yeah.
We still had it.
Yeah. Drake, I'll tell you what, Drake ain't had homecoming in years. Anyway. He ain't had homecoming in years within him. Okay. Anyway.
No home to come to. Okay.
No home to come to at all. Like Kendrick said, what is the braids? What is it? The braids?
Really, the funniest thing that I think I heard this year, BBL Drizzy.
Oh man. Produced by Morehouse, former Morehouse student, Metro Boomin. Metro Boomin went to Morehouse, so yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep, yeah. Okay, hey, he might have gone to one Morehouse Tuskegee Classic one year. He might have just popped out. You might have walked past him. You might have told him, take a picture, last longer. I don't know, or whatever. And then it's like he's Metro now. You know what I'm saying? What is that? You like take a picture, take a picture of last long. All of a sudden, this BBL Drizzy beat is really cool. Who made it? Metro. I saw him outside the calf my freshman year. That's crazy.
Oh man.
He wasn't Devin Mouse. He was Metro.
Wow, Metro. Like it's the creativity. They're creative geniuses.
They are.
I'm entertained. Keep it going.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say is that where it was going, I was very nervous that it was going to go to a place where we didn't want it to go to. That was my only thing. Is like we're talking about real serious stuff. Talking about abuse. We're talking about, you know what I'm saying, like children stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's a moment when now we might get Tupac, Biggie, we might get Young Jeezy, Gucci Mane. We don't want that. We want it just to be artistic. But it was going to a point. I was like, I don't want to go there. You don't think so?
You think Drake ever been in a fight?
Yes. We know he has. We know, and he got people around him that are connected.
Let me say, do you think Drake has ever started a fight? That's a different.
Are you saying Degrassi Drake, but like before So Far Gone? Or are you talking about now? Because I definitely do think he started fights now. He started with Chris Brown. They was throwing balls in the club.
Okay, maybe I'm just that far gone. No point intended.
Drake's different now because he like Drake. He was getting into it with Chris of all people. He was throwing bottles with.
He's hypersensitive.
Because listen, Drake changed because it was that moment he threw the bottles at Chris Brown. Of course, the guy who shall not be named. He had a little spat with him, Diddy, who he had a little spat with him, you know, like that when Diddy quote unquote slapped him, and they're saying it didn't happen, like so all different stuff like, and Kendrick talked about that too in the song. So he's had different moments, and essentially he was saying, hey, I'm wearing my chain every time I come to LA, and then Kendrick said, disrespecting Pac, you ain't going to Oakland. Oh, you ain't going to Oakland. So it's like, I was like, oh man.
You think Oakland gonna let you disrespect Pac?
Yeah, I was like, all right, Kendrick. Let's do Hard Part 7.
The energy I get from Drake is like, he would do something feminine. You get me? Like, throw a drink on you. That's the energy that I get. And then the energy I get from Kendrick is like, he's gonna fight a spiritual war. Fair, not.
But think about the people around him, though. Think about, because Kendrick's is from Compton.
But I think
Drake
is so like centered and grounded and like high vibrational. He is doing this because it's serving a purpose. I think that Drake needs to hear the truth. Right? So he's doing it, like, people can say it's not out of love, but like, it could be like, hey, brother, like, these are things that I've been wanting to say to you. I want to hold you accountable. Because if somebody holds you accountable, that's actually love. Because he's surrounded by people that are watching him do those things that are not said anything.
Yeah. Meet the Graham. See, a lot of people get caught up on the daughter thing. Like we say, it might not be true, but he read Drake from Adonis to his dad to his mom. Like, he literally dressed him down as like a character. This is a Pulitzer Prize winning artist. So it's like he's telling a story. You know what I mean? So like it's like that whole, like, I can go on and on.
But that was like art that we have not heard. You get me? Yeah. In a very long time. How often do we get to hear stories nowadays?
That's true.
So like Drake on the low, he probably be like, you know what? That was fine. No matter how emotional he gets, Kendrick is a genius.
He is. And I think a lot of folks realize that now. I think a lot of folks realize what we all saw. But I will say this about Drake, and then we'll move on. Now that it's been 3 weeks, because next week will be the 3rd. So it's a month since Euphoria dropped, because Euphoria dropped, I believe, on the 27th of April. Then what transpired? He dropped 616 in LA. Then Drake drops Family Matters. Then he drops Meet the Grams. Then he drops Not Like Us. So it was a whole crazy weekend, right? I think with Drake, now that I've had time to decompress, the beef is over. I've had time to decompress. Family Matters was dope. He was going crazy in Family Matters, objectively from the artistry. But out of all of the songs, excluding Not Like Us is dope. I have listened to the Hard Part 6 a copious amount of times, because that beat is crazy. Oh my God. That beat is crazy. And he's like, I'll see you. Because this is him saying, I'm done. Listen, I'm not, this beef is over to me. Even though I said drop. Listen, this beef is over. He said, I will see you when I see you, like Fantasia. Like, I was like, you know, that's the smoothest way to get out of a beef you lost. Like, I'll see when I see, like, just make it witty, make them think. Like, Fantasia have a song to say when I see. That's one of my favorite songs. And then mine, he done left. Where's Drake at? You know what I'm saying? Like, you start singing the song, you're like, Drake gone. You know what I'm saying? So listen. But I will give Drake. He has some 1-2s. That's Kendrick though. That's Kendrick. So he was never gonna win that. He was never gonna win that. But I wondered if you knew, if you were tapped in though, because I was like, you West Coast, so you know, I already know you was rocking with Kendrick. But
yeah,
I get it.
I knew that Drake wasn't gonna win, but it was like, dang, I still do have like this sentimental attachment to Drake.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll say it was the teenager in me rooting for Drake. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, the adult me prefers Kendrick.
Yeah, more mature, and then like take care Drake
the wise version of me.
Yeah, Take Care Drake is gone. But then when I listen, because Marvin Room was one of my favorite songs. Listen to Marvin's Room. I'm like, good God. I listen to a different ear now and I'm older. I'm like, bro, like what was you leave that woman alone? like get off of her phone. Like you better get back in the club. Leave her. She probably sleep. She's probably has work in the morning, sir. Like she probably at Tuskegee or Fort Valley got class in the morning. You talking? I'm just saying you can do better. Like, bruh, leave and heal. Like he just on the phone. Like I'm just saying you can do better. Like, no, leave her alone. Like God, like I look at it so differly now. I'm just
why the mailbox full.
Yeah, like exactly. Can't pick up now mail. Packages backed up. Like telling you, like all this different stuff people can't call, like all of it. like you call, you dial. Listen, and then you get this person's not available. The mailbox is full. Goodbye. Golly. Like, man, can't get text messages. He just all on the phone. You can do better. Like anyway. I listen to it when we get old. You listen to it differently, like restraining order. Drake, here's what he needed. Anyway, that's what he needed. If he needed a restraining order, leave that woman alone. He need to get blocked.
And
leave her alone.
That is what Kendrick said.
That's what he said.
You've been preying on these women.
That is exactly what he said.
Yes, stalking these women.
You see, listen. But this was a great. You see, this was different. You see, this was different.
I loved it.
You see what I'm saying?
I knew I would because it's you.
I appreciate. I appreciate that. So let's end with this. So you were in the HBCU experience, the HBCU dance edition, and you're in now the Tuskegee edition of the HBCU experience. So. And these books are like only a few months apart. So I know that essentially you're talking about being a Crimson Piperette in the dance edition. And you're talking more granularly about your Tuskegee experience in this book. But what are the differences in the stories that you're telling in these two different books?
Actually, there's no difference because since I am the lead author for this book, I decided to use my same chapter. Mm-hmm. And so when she reached out to me about this opportunity last year, the auxiliary opportunity, I was like, oh, well, do you have a Tuskegee edition yet? And she was like, oh, we don't. Dr. Little, the founder of the HBCU experience. And I was like, well, I would love to be the lead author for that edition. And now we are here. And so since they were like back to back, I honestly did not have the time to write a whole new chapter. And so in the future, because I know who I am and who I am becoming, there will be a biography and a documentary on me. So you all will find out all of these details in the future. But yes, it is the same as the auxiliary edition.
Hey, listen, we love it. So for the folks that didn't get that edition of the book, all right, they've never read it before. It's new to them. So tell us about what your chapter is about. You're the lead author in this one. You know what I'm saying? You pop it off for Tuskegee, and that's really a big deal because this is Tuskegee. This is Tuskegee University. And then on top of that, you know what's so crazy that I just realized? You all have a new president, Dr. Mark Brown, I believe.
Yes,
he's doing his thing.
Found out today. Congratulations, Dr. Brown.
Yeah, and he's an alumnus. And his resume is dope. You know what I'm saying? So
And
Yeah,
he
hey,
went to Morehouse. I heard that.
yeah, his resume just
No,
like
he went to Tuskegee.
yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, like he like because I was thinking, I thought you said he worked at Morehouse, but he definitely he went to Tuskegee. He's like a distinguished alumni, worked with the government, worked with Robert F. Smith. So it's a really great time for Tuskegee. Like I think it's really dope that now this is a new transition into what is going to be a new era, and it's still so much growth. It's almost like, and I know you probably don't play like video games. I know you have your brother that's at Grambling. Maybe he plays video games, but like the college football game is coming out. So yeah, the college football game is coming out. We all excited. All the guys are excited. Yes, in college football 25. So in video games, sometimes one of the things in college football 25, right, is that you're not going to pick Georgia. You're not going to pick USC. Those are the good schools. We're going to pick Kennesaw State. Now, I'm not saying Kennesaw State ain't good, but Kennesaw State ain't Georgia. We're going to build them up. So getting Tuskegee is like you picking the most high-powered team in the game. So it's like you are inheriting like Tuskegee. Like all I got to do is just sit back and say, do what y'all do. Like, I'm going to just collect this paycheck. Do what y'all do. Like, do what y'all do. Go on and engineer. Okay, going to play football and win is up against Fort Valley. Okay, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? One loss. Like y'all not playing us this year, so it's all good. Y'all going to defeat this year. Like we'll see y'all in the SIC. We'll see you when we see like Fantasia.
Yeah,
all right.
We'll see you when we
see
you.
In November in the SIC championship, handle business. We will handle business. But like it's such a dope time for Tuskegee. So I think it's just dope that you are this lead author. And the book is coming out now. It's going to be coming out really soon on Amazon. So for the folks that didn't get a chance to check out your chapter in the last book, the HBCU Dance Edition, what do they have to look forward to with the chapter in this book?
Yes, I would love to enlighten them. The Tuskegee edition and the auxiliary edition are going to take you on a journey and provide you with a story that is also medicine for the soul. Just like Kendrick, right? And so one of the things that I talk about is how I fell in love with the South, with Tuskegee, with the Black Belt, with the Bible Belt. And that's because of the band. And if it was not for the band, I probably would have moved back to Los Angeles, honestly, because multiple reasons, honestly, just went through my mind. And we talked about it on my last interview. The Piggly Wiggly was one of them. But one of the main reasons was just the culture shock. Most LA people that came here were shocked. There were a lot of people that went back, and then the people that ended up staying, they had the pride of the swift growing South instilled in them some way, somehow. And the band instilled that in me. And so it was an honor to be a Piperette for 3 years and to also not just be a Piperette. It was like I was this symbol, of greatness. Like as soon as we came down, when we would march down to the field, the first thing you see is us, right? The first thing you see is us. So it was just an honor to represent the band, the Marching Crimson Piper Band, represent Tuskegee, represent our legacy, to also be able to be a keeper of our traditions. Because when we talked about this as well, the elders would come, the Piperettes would come back and see us. They would cry because we were still doing what they did decades ago. And so it was an honor and a privilege to be able to become a keeper of those traditions, and not just those traditions, but Tuskegee University's traditions, because I am a self-sufficient woman because of Tuskegee University. And so it is, yeah, it's just going to inspire you to tell your story.
That's real.
Because your story is your testimony, and it can inspire someone. It can change someone's life. It can be that medicine that I was just talking about that can nourish their soul. That's why people love music so much, because those people are telling their stories. And so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
pray that everyone enjoys it to the fullest and is inspired and illuminated.
for sure.
And it was
And
also an honor to be able to recommend all of these other people that inspired me, that went to Tuskegee before me, after me, with me. And so to be able to read their stories is definitely, something that I'm looking forward to.
yeah, I think that this lineup is just really dope. Like with you as the lead author and just all the other amazing folks that are in the book. Cause like for us, for real, like real talk, like a lot of people I think that don't have a granular look at the HBCU experience, because we only really limit our view to only a few institutions and we view it by size. So we look at FAMU, North Carolina A&T, we look at Howard being in DC and all the alumni that they have. But
Mhm.
I think Tuskegee is regarded as one of those top HBCUs, but I think that it needs to be more of an emphasis on it, because you look at the
Mm.
students, you look at the alumni, you look at the presidents now, you see with the presidents, the accolades, the accomplishments, the amazing people that Tuskegee brings out. So I think that this book is going to aid to it for a lot of people to see the amazing things that you all are doing. So the Fort Valley alum, I'm proud of y'all. I'm very happy because I know you got to know like what Tuskegee has going on, so I'm super excited, of course, to read your chapter, to read everybody else's chapter. And this is a very fun interview. We talked about Drake and Kendrick. I got it off my chest. You know what I'm saying? Like I got it off my chest.
Drumline.
And Drumline. And Drumline. We took a deep dive into Drumline and the psychological makeup of Drake, aka Aubrey Graham, aka Jimmy, wheelchair Jimmy, and Devin Miles. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Wheelchair BBL Drizzy and wheelchair Jimmy. That's what that is what the folks that don't know DeGrasse is what we know him as. Like everybody has seen that clip where he took off running and Buddy got him and he was in that wheelchair. I think he was in that wheelchair for the rest of
Hey, if you didn't watch DeGrasse, you still know about that.
Yeah, that got to be one of the most viral clips on internet history, because it's like everybody saw that.
And I was mad, like really the only black man on the show
got shot. That's true.
Shot.
That is very true. And how because it's like, because and then you're like, you know what? I sort of get it, because like what you gonna do? You just gonna sit there and get shot? I'm gonna run too. Like, I'll be in that wheelchair too. What you mean? The best wheelchair? My wheelchair might have some rims on it. You know what I'm saying? Like my wheelchair might have a TV on it.
Okay,
like spit like my wheelchair might have a little popcorn holder. Like what you mean? Like my wheelchair might have a speaker in it, and I'm playing BBL Drizzy on the speaker.
Lights.
LED, like my wheelchair might just be a car. Okay, like
might as well upgrade.
Because I would have ran. I would have ran too. I would have ran that. What do you do in that situation? What do you do? You just sit there like, shoot me right here. Like no, like shoot.
Yeah,
shoot
like
that,
you are not Superman. Right.
I'm gonna be a man. Shoot me, man. Like no, that man he was shaking with the tree. Like what else you gonna do? I don't. Cause you go to the doctor and you get like your blood drawn. You might get a vaccine. They start telling you to look away, because if you look, you gonna flinch. So at the very, let me look away. You know what I mean? So listen, I understand Jimmy. Okay, I understand Jimmy. I understand
Same.
Jimmy. Run. I run, Jimmy run. All right. Like, but I will say he probably could have ran faster because if he ran a little bit faster, maybe he would have missed. Anyway, okay. Maybe would have been like,
he is lacking melanin. I feel like, the more melanin, the faster you are.
That is true. That's what Kendra talked about. But listen, Jonice,
where can you say it again?
Yeah, he sure did. And then you saw Drake started his. And I was like, yeah, it probably does sound bad when you say it. You probably shouldn't say it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you probably shouldn't no more, Drake. Yeah. You might give it a rest for a year. Like you might make gospel music now because you can't cuss gospel music. You might make gospel music.
Yeah, nah, leave that to Kanye.
Leave that.
That's Kanye's lane.
What about have gospel beef? Kanye and Drake. You know what I'm saying? Like wouldn't that be dope? Gospel beef. That. You know what I mean? So I feel that'd be dope. Have a whole gospel battle. Yeah, right. And then you have a choir face off. You know what I'm saying? Like, Drake get his choir, Kanye get his. Now Kanye's choir gonna win. I'm not gonna lie, Kanye's choir gonna win.
Yeah, no choir. Yeah,
Kanye's choir gonna win. Kanye's choir goes crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
The choir battle still would be worth it. Just like we knew Kendrick was gonna win, but it was still worth it.
Yeah, no, it was. It was a moment in time.
I'm telling my kids about this.
Yeah. Telling you, like this was
this is our Biggie and Tupac. Like
what a lot of people say, and I'll say this, then we gonna go, but because we'll talk forever. We're talking another hour. But because a lot of people say this is what Nas and Jay-Z was. I disagree because in hindsight, and I'm a Jay-Z guy, I am a Nas guy. But Nas was like my favorite rapper for a long time. And so because I'm from the South, so Big Crit is my guy. But that beef was very childish. That be like Ether was very childish. Ether was a very childish record. Like I can't even, some of the stuff he said on that record, I can't even say on his interview because it was so, like, it was homophobic. It was offensive. It's like, you're not, like, Drake said stuff like if Drake's impetus is you're short, but also you are an abuser, which we don't know that to be true. That's better than anything Nas is saying, because if this is true, Kendrick, we're looking at you crazy because what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Right. But Nas is saying, like, I'm like, Nas, you don't get you if you don't grow up. If you don't take a picture, it'll last longer. Like, what the world? Like if you don't get on somewhere, like the stuff he was saying, and then Jay-Z starts saying stuff, and then it was like with Drake and Kendrick, they were really getting to it. Now the short jokes, I ain't. Listen, I'm the same. I think I'm an inch taller than Kendrick. The short stuff is like, come on, man. Like, because it's like, dude, come on. But like some of the other stuff, like, it was sort of disturbing. Like that. Like some of I was like, I don't, because when you listen to it, like, and Drake was getting down too. Like I was especially that last beat. I was like, I feel guilty now because it's like you harmonizing too much about this abuse. You harmonizing too much. Like he done made a little harmony with the no, man, come on. So it's like this might be a little bit better. I would just say this for all the hip hop people, this might have been a little bit better than me because it was just a little bit more.
I'll say multi-generational. Like, yeah, my brother enjoying it, I'm enjoying it. My mom would, listen to it. You get what I'm saying? And so, yeah. I'm sure there's some parents that, out there listening to it too. Talking about they not like us. They not like us, right?
Did you see the grandma do it? The grandma did it too. It was a grandma. Yeah.
It's multi-generational. And so a lot of generations are actually enjoying this beef.
Yeah.
More than like, maybe some people are like frantic over it, but I think more people are enjoying it. I've seen so many people crip walking. Okay, skating to say not like us. It was, going viral.
Yeah, like you gotta be careful doing that now. I ain't gotta be careful doing that. Listen,
it's not for everybody.
In some
You're
places,
not like us, you know.
Yeah,
you're not
hey,
from LA.
I'm definitely not like a gang member. I'll tell you that much. I'm not like a gang member. They got that. They can say that like it's me. I'll be like, you're right, sir. Like I'm not a gang member. They not. He not like us. Nope. No, like I am not like y'all at all.
Like what? Yeah,
cool. We good. We good. Listen, but hey, listen. This is so fun. Before we go, tell everyone where they can find you on social media and how we can support you.
Yes, you all can find me on Instagram at Watts Jonice and any other platform, Jonice Watts, and you all can support me by learning how to prioritize yourself. That would support me by learning how to support yourself.
That's real. That's real. Hey, we gotta learn that.
Yeah.
As always, this was amazing. At this point, I'm gonna see you when I see you, like Fantasia.
I'm gonna see you when I see you. But take a picture.
It'll last longer. You need to put it on a t-shirt for sure. Like when you saw the Tuskegee edition, saw that t-shirt with it. I'm telling you, you'll be a millionaire by the end of the day.
That's the plan for sure.
Thank you.
Like what you hear?
Yeah.
Subscribe to HBCU Pulse Radio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, head to hbcupulse.com to stay up to date on what's going on in the HBCU community. Thank you for listening to HBCU Pulse Radio.